2016 PBA60 Killer B Open. We're just minutes away from crowning the 8th PBA60 champion in history. Craig Yellett along with Tom Carter, Jeff Goodger, and Phil Brylow here on the call at Lane Glo Bowl in Port Richey, Florida. We've got quite a stepladder, Tom.
We got some new faces, which is kind of nice to see. It's not the same guys that you normally see. We got 3 new guys on the show. It's going to be an exciting show, I think.
And the 2 guys we've heard of once or twice through their careers, Tom Baker, Ron Mohr.
I think they've won before.
Seeds. Yeah. I mean, it's been 5 years for Ron Mohr. That's hard to believe.
It is, because it seems like every week he's in the finals. They can't believe that he hasn't won. You know, last year he made, I think, every stepladder. It seemed like he was in all the finals. Yeah, and he almost didn't come out this year. He was thinking about not even playing this year. And now he's
well. There's probably 100 players that would have been okay with that, but I'm pretty sure he wouldn't have been okay with that. Newly married, his wife Lita in here watching, looking for his first title of this new season. We've got some new names, like you said. Mike Chrzanowski out of Shepherd, Michigan. John Dudak, who's been on tour for a long time, looking for his first title. And Don Blatchford also are 3, 4, and 5 seeds.
I think you're going to see quite a show out of Dudak. He's been working hard, changed his game some, and I think between him and Mike, it's going to be a good start.
You know, Chrzanowski's been around for a long time. We'll go through his history a little bit as we get started, but we're on the PBA50 Viper pattern. Tom, you got the ball, you made the cut, you moved up a little bit today. What can we expect for scoring pace and shot making here?
I think the scoring pace is going to be high. If it was like the match play round, the shot plays out, and the guys like to play out. Dudak will be hooking a little bit more than most, but he's got more speed. He's in his 60s. He doesn't look 60 at all, and he definitely doesn't throw it like he's 60. And I think that you're going to see it could be 250 plus every game.
It's interesting that we've been out on the PBA tour for the last couple of weeks. We talk about all these young kids that are having great success early. These guys are all 16 and above, and there's some guys out here that throw the ball fantastic.
Oh, they throw it phenomenally. And this tournament, our first tournament, you're talking about the 60 pluses. They've got probably 30 games in the last 2 days. It's amazing.
That's a lot of ball games. John Weber, our tournament director, making final instructions to our players, and Mike Chrzanowski making his first stepladder appearance here after a couple of year layoff. That's the way to come back. Make your first show.
Well, if you're going to come back, come back with a vengeance, right?
And a really great story. They actually tied for 4th in the 5th. Dudak got a 1-ball roll-off win, so he has choice. But Chrzanowski, I'm going to mess it up every time. He had
that's why I don't say it.
Rotator cuff on both shoulders since 2015. Hasn't bowled more than 2 days in a row in over 3 years. He's now in day 3. Finds himself in the top 5, bowling for his first title.
Well, Mike, he bowls out of the Midwest and Central region. I bowled against him quite a bit. He's a straighter player. His game's really simple, and this pattern is fairly conducive to wanting to play outside, and that's his A game. And he's kind of hard and straight. He got just enough roll. The ball's tilting up on the back end. We got super fresh back ends. It's just a matter of, I think, a little bit of carry. As long as the ball doesn't burn up early, because they're going to actually burn up the shot pretty fast. The lanes tend to change on this pattern after practice within the first 5-7 frames.
Dudak out of Orland Park, Illinois, also from your neck of the woods. We'll start things off here in this opening match.
John's just so smooth. He changed his approach. He's moved up on the approach, shortened his steps a lot, I think. But it's definitely helped him. He's just a nice, easy swing. Break point out about 7, 8. You can actually, depending on how you rev it up, you can get it out to 4, 5, and it'll still make it back. But not the optimum angle entry to strike.
What kind of nerves are going through Chrzanowski right now? His first time on TV, bowling for a title.
I would say a lot, because that was a lot slower than he normally throws it. It looks like he's being a little bit cautious. First time on TV. Swing kind of outside in. You can see him going up and at him. And in the beginning, there seems to be a little bit of hold, but not quite that much.
Yeah, the players all had 15 minutes of practice on this pair after they re-oiled after match play, but that is or isn't quite enough to really kind of get something defined out there, is it?
Well, all depends on the equipment they used. If they used some surface, scuffed up some stuff, yeah, they can break it up, but the volume of the pattern is not that much. And the bad thing about guys using really dull stuff, you burn up the front part of the lane, it doesn't really create a much bigger break point. It just burns up the heads on you. And then you got early hook that forces you to move left. Then it's a matter if you get the ball to turn the corner.
So it sounds easy.
Oh, yeah. It's a piece of cake. And we don't even have blue oil. We can't even see it.
Oh, such a deception with that blue oil. People talk about it must be easy. Well, it doesn't show you the volume of the oil or what type of oil on the lane surface, all that stuff. But that's a guide, sure. But maybe not a huge advantage. Great shot there from Chrzanowski.
Well, it was kind of funny when you talk about the blue oil at the Barbasol Open at where I'm out of at Wayne Webb's place in Columbus. In match play, Jason Belmonte, in the second game, he was already left of everybody going over the left gutter. The blue oil, you would have thought that he would have been played farther outside, but he didn't, not with his rev rate.
And looks like almost the same shot for Chrzanowski. Dudak looked like about over 9, but got the break there and a late fall of the 10-pin. Another look here. Oh, that was 12.
He was way in. And Brooklyn. Well, you know, that's bowling. Unfortunately, he might throw the next shot and leave a stone 9. It's payback.
And Dudak already his best finish ever on the senior tours. 2008 he finished 12th at Decatur, so he's going to guarantee at least 5th here. So his best finish no matter what happens. And he shot a big game to even get here. He jumped from 8th into 4th with a big position around qualified 12th.
I think he shot 279 in that game to make the jump.
Yeah, jumped 3 different players.
I think John's like 63. I'm not sure. But he throws at roughly 17 up to 18 mile an hour, and he gets a whole bunch on it. Huge advantage out here against the seniors. When you got somebody like me that throws at 14 and a half, 15. And that's on a good day.
And Chrzanowski thinking, wow, how come I don't get that late 10-pin like Dudak got? But like I said, that's just the way it goes sometimes. Good shot. That's about 3 boards right of his last one on that lane, which was his first shot on TV.
Well, you can see that, you know, he's pointing it up. He's a straighter player, and you got to get that ball to face up. And John's got obviously a few more revs than Mike does. Mike's a great, I was going to jinx him, a great spare shooter. And in this format, you need to be, because if you don't strike, you got to make sure you're filling frames. They seem to like the left lane better.
I think so. It'll be interesting to talk to Mike after this, no matter how it plays out, and see how his shoulders are feeling after all this bowling the last couple of days. That's what he was worried about yesterday when I talked to him. He's like, you know what, I could wake up tomorrow and I won't be able to bowl. He wasn't sure, just with not bowling a lot to back-to-back days.
Rotator cuff surgery is nothing to mess with. I've had surgery in my shoulder, but nothing like that. And I know how bad shoulders are. You have good days and you have bad days. There's some days that there's not enough Tylenol and Advil in a drugstore to keep the pain out. John's got kind of a unique push away, and he's had that for as long as I've known him. He kind of like push it up and holds it for a second. We always talk about dropping the ball into the swing, making sure it gets into the swing clean, and he kind of does a little bit of the opposite of what they preach today about the young bowlers. Just get the ball into the swing nice and smooth.
And I think that might have been a ball change on that lane.
It wouldn't surprise me that if the guys throw 2 different balls, because some of the pairs you could strike easily on one lane, and it was 10-pin, 10-pin, 4-pin, 9-pin on the other lane. John bowled the Barbasol tournament in Wayne Webb's place this year. He goes, the second day, he goes, I worked my butt off to get up to 110th. I didn't want to be 115th.
Well, Chrzanowski looking at that scoreboard and realizes that Dudak is not going to give him too many opportunities. He needs to just continue striking right here.
Well, Mike, no matter what happens, can't be upset with the way he bowled. You know, after having shoulder surgery, making a show, at least having a chance to win a title. That's, you know, you got to get there in order to have to win a title. At least he's there.
So we talked about physically, right? He's got the shoulder surgeries and as many games these guys bowled, but I guess explain to our viewers a little bit what this atmosphere and even all week in this tournament, what it does to you mentally, because it's not just a physical game.
No, it's every bit of as much or more mental than it is physical. All these guys have great physical games. It's just keeping your mind in it and not letting, the bad breaks that you have or how your body feels get in the way of you executing a shot. And it's real easy to do. You catch a bad pair, you start thinking bad things, and next thing you know, you're not executing shots. If your body's hurting, then you're trying to, you think about that going to the line. So you, at the bottom of the swing, you try to do something different just so you don't hurt. And that's just, it's tough. Guys are 60. We have parts that are falling off.
Literally at times,
Literally.
Right? A little more time here for Dudak. A little indecision on the shot.
Well, as it gets closer to the 10th frame, you see the clutches get a little bit tighter in the ball. They just they grab a little bit because I got to make this shot. I got to make this shot, and instead of just letting it swing and letting it go, I mean that's what got you here. And there's pressure on this. All these guys. You have 3 guys out here that want their first title, and then they got to go against Hall of Famers.
Yeah,
bowler of the year.
Yeah, that's the good news and bad news, right? Yeah, you just made it to the final match, but now you got either Tom Baker or Ron Mohr.
Right.
Congratulations.
Sorry about your luck. I mean, obviously anybody can be beat in a one-game match, but there's a little bit of a psych that goes with having to bowl somebody that's been there, won, done what they needed to do to get that title. Notice John thumb in and out a lot, getting that thumb set. I think you see Wes Malott do that a little bit. Kind of gets his thumb in and out as he goes.
I just think the last 2 shots with Dudak, we just saw that fidgeting a little bit there, and that one he just kind of got over top of, and another 10 pin.
They're getting close to the 10th, and things are starting to rush. You got to keep your mind slow out here. I mean, the game goes by so fast anyway. You don't think about it. It might seem like it takes a long time for the viewers to watch this game, but when you're sitting down there, next thing you know, it's the 10th frame.
Oh, and you talk about guys that know how to slow the game down, and that's what they're talking about, right? When you get in this position, it's still the same amount of time. It's still a 15-minute game.
Right.
But slowing down, do you hear every ball all next to you, or do you hear the people practicing, you hear people whispering, you just shut that out somehow?
Well, it might be a 15-minute game, but I swear to God, it seems like 1 minute and 5 seconds when you're out there. Oh, Mike got a little slow. He didn't like that at all. Split. He was closing the gap, too. That's the only problem with kind of starting it up like that when the back ends are as crisp as they are. You get it started, the ball hits the back part of the lane, especially with these aggressive balls we have, and it just goes right through the face. You can't slow up with this new equipment.
Well, Chrzanowski does have one regional title to his credit, the senior event back in 2006 in Buffalo Grove, Illinois. So he's won before, but that's 11 years ago, and a lot of time has passed since then. The game has changed quite a bit since 2006.
Oh, boy. The equipment is unbelievably different. Oils are different. Lanes are different.
Bowling ball's changed a little bit since then.
Yeah, evolution is hitting bowling, and if you haven't stayed up with it, I get guys in the pro shop all the time. Well, I haven't bowled in 15 years, and they come in asking for balls that were 15 years ago. Shoot, a shelf life on a ball anymore might be 6 months.
I think if Chrzanowski goes back and watches the replay here, he's going to see just his arm swing, those last few shots, a little inconsistent.
Yeah, he's getting his elbow out. He's getting his hand around the ball. He's, kind of, we call it thumb down it a little bit, starts it up. He's trying to fit it instead of just actually relax and bowl. Good spare. Now we always say in lessons, bowling is just a walk in the park, and that's the way you got to look at it. It's just a nice, easy tempo. If you try to bowl you will fail, because you try to force shots, grab on it a little bit. Swing's not pure.
226 max for Chrzanowski. 238 pace right now for Dudak. So Dudak just has to keep filling frames. But we've seen that's easier said than done. As you just mentioned, when you start squeezing a little bit, if you are, it could get difficult. And we see splits on this pattern a lot this week.
Oh, I've seen a lot of 7-10s. You thought the ball was good. And the lane burned up just enough in the mids that the ball turned the corner. It looked like it was going to be good, but just flat 7-10. You're like, oh, my gosh.
Got Don Blatchford out of Santa Monica, California, qualified 15th, got all the way up to 3rd here for the Stepladder, waiting for the winner of this match. Blatchford also looking for his first national win.
Blatchford throws it a lot like Mike. He's going to be kind of up and at him, not giving it away too much. Then you got the two guys on top that will be giving it away. So it'll be kind of interesting on how the lane actually plays out. Will the straight guys open it up for the guys that hook it?
I'll tell you what, Tom, watching all the players and the way the shot developed this week, I'm giving Dudak the advantage just the way he throws the ball. Just a little straighter, a little firm, but his roll is, Tom Baker's going to spin it a little bit. Anything can happen down lane with that.
Right.
Ron Mohr's maybe a little firmer with it, and we've seen, he's kind of like Sam Akron, similar rolls. And it just gets a little tough. And I just like the way that Dudak's getting the ball off his hand.
Yeah, Mohr is probably the firmest with his wrist through the bottom of the shot, and he's right up the back of the ball. He's got that kind of hook set thing right at the pocket. His ball never overly continues, where John can get that to happen. As long as it doesn't happen in these games, he's going to be a person to contend with. I thought so when we did the pre-show, and I still think that he gets through this match and he gets a little loosened up. Swing gets a little loosened up. He's going to strike even more.
Well, and the difference in that roll on this pattern, though, is the 10-pin. Where Dudak might kick that out, where Ron might struggle with that being up the back. But, yeah, a lot of games yet to go.
Right.
But that's just kind of what we've seen develop this week. And, you know what? We're going to find out because we're going to have it all live right here.
The biggest difference will be the nerves. Everybody wants a banner. That's why we're out here.
To win.
To win. They always go, well, what about the money? You can spend the money. You can't take the title away from you. This is pretty much, unfortunately, all over for Mike, but he's had a great showing this week.
Well, and that's what he's got to take from this, though, right? Is, hey, you know what? It's my first tournament in several years. Haven't bowled much at all lately. I'm going to finish 5th. It's a great start of the swing if he gets a chance to bowl, the next event here this week, or, a few more of these.
It builds confidence, at least
right.
He knows he can do it, And so the next tournament, I think you go in with less pressure because you know that you can actually compete now. There's no question. You made a show. It's not luck. There's a lot of games thrown here. We had 12 games of qualifying. You guys are like, well, how many games are you going to bowl out there? That's, well, the 60-year-olds, the super seniors, we have 12 games the first day, not counting practice. And then we come, if you make match play, there's another 8 games today, not counting practice. So it's an easy 30, 35 games. And if you made the show, there's an extra 4 if you come from 5th.
I got tired just listening to that description. That's a lot of games.
Well, yeah, if we bowl 36 games, if you only bowl one night a week in league, that's 12 weeks.
Nice round of applause. Love the smile Mike had with that 11 shot. He's relaxed. Great finish. Congratulations. Nice turn. He was in the top 10, I think, from game 1 up until this point here as he finishes 5th. And you see some other players give him a nice congratulations. They know what it's like to be out here, get your first time chance for the title.
I know he's going to walk away. It's going to be a dual emotion. You're disappointed because you didn't do better, but you're happy that you got this far.
When you get back to the room and just collapse.
Yep. John's swing ought to get just a little bit freer now because the pressure's off. That swing goes outside, tucks it back in. He opens that lane up down lane. He gets it out there to 6, 7, 8, and he's got enough axis tilt on the rotation on the back end. The ball changes direction. It's nice for him.
Now, John shot 279 a little bit ago. He's going to be in the 250s with a strike here. The game's over. Why isn't he trying a different ball?
That's a very good question. Unless he thought that this ball all day gave him the best look. Maybe he never tried other stuff today. I don't know. I think I'd have to reach in the bag and just go, what if? You know?
Right. Is that just experience, maybe?
I think so. You know, like you said, he's got it in hand. There's always that what if factor. The Lanes could just break down weird in the next game or so. Why didn't you change balls? Just try something different. And on the other side of that coin, he might not want to be confused if he actually puts the ball in his hand and strikes with it, you know? John moving on to compete against Don Blatchford.
Everybody's not just us, yeah. John Weber making us feel good. All right. There you have it. Next match, Don Blanchard, John Dudak. PBA60 Killer B Open, Lane Glo Bowl in Port Richey, Florida.
I don't know, Pepsi or something. The machine, there's a machine down there. Huh? The machine down there would be good. Okay. You want a fountain drink? Yeah, a fountain drink with ice would be good.
Yeah, you do. We're going to Sizzler. We're going to Sizzler. I'll buy. Golden Corral. Yeah, yeah.
So we are ready to start match number 2 of the PBA60 Killer B Open here at Lane Glo Bowl, and the matchup is 4-time PBA Tour champion Don Blatchford of Santa Monica, California. He'll be going against, you know him, John Dudak. Both players looking for their first national PBA Tour title. So good luck to both of them. Guys, give them a good show. Don is going to start the match on the left side. Good luck.
We are back.
Don Blatchford going to start things off, looking for his first title.
He's a very, very competitive bowler. He's got a kind of a unique style, unique swing, but he's always in the finals or in the cash out here, whether it be the PBA 50 or 60.
We've seen that look a lot from these players. Strikes, but I wasn't very good. I shouldn't have struck. Well, you did.
You know, that's funny when you're talking about how it plays on your mind. You know, instead of being happy that you struck and you got a break, you're thinking about how to throw it better, and sometimes that can be an overthought process. Everybody gets breaks out here, you know.
And when you just flat pure, that's when you just ring a 10.
Right.
When you do everything just right, then it's just a smash 10.
You posted the shot, you're staying there until it hits the pins, and you're going, yeah. And something pops up and bites you. Crossed over again for Brooklyn. He's liking that, I think.
Yeah, I guess I'd keep the same ball if you strike on both sides of the
he
pocket.
hit like 13, 14. Down lane, you can see the markers down lane. And if you hit, literally, normally if you just hit 10, you're going to be high and through the face. It could even go Brooklyn. But, you know, 11, 12, no chance. Well, at least he's laughing about it.
Yeah, they're still relaxed, giving each other business down there. Blatchford says, hey, when's my turn to get that one? 279 in the position round, 257 game one in the step ladder here for Dudak. And looking to take an early lead.
Back in the game.
Blatchford went from 15th to 3rd today.
That's a huge jump. And I know the number, and the numbers weren't all that tight for somebody to jump up that far. But obviously he had a great day today, and 8 games of match play, he found a way to get up there. You look at Don's wrist position. He starts out with a really kind of a weaker wrist position, which helps him to get it straighter. There's a lot of times we bowl, it seems like everybody else is 20 left of where he's at, and he seems like he can play the dirt when nobody else can.
He's got that grinder look, just standing there. Like he's the guy that's just going to just keep jamming it in that 1-3 pocket no matter what you're doing.
Right.
Kind of a Pete Thomas type thing too, right? Those guys can just get outside of anybody and just somehow they get it into that 1-3.
And the ball never seems to read early. You know, that's amazing. My ball tends to read somewhere in my backswing. Oh, that's very uncharacteristic of Don to miss a spare. Now that's the kind of stuff that'll get into your head. You're thinking, okay, I got it. And then, like I said earlier, the back ends are so crisp. Once that ball hits it, it's going.
Don with 2 regional wins and 2 senior regional wins to his credit out of Santa Monica, California.
Oh. I know what he's thinking, but he just can't say it.
And we can't say that on camera. That 7-pin almost goes. No. My goodness.
So at this point, unless that crossover got into his head a little bit of John's swing should be getting looser and looser because it doesn't look like Don's quite that lined up yet. But he can strike forever if he does get lined up. Looks like Don's making a little tape adjustment on his thumb hole. It's funny, a lot of bowlers out here, and the environment in the center is just really, really cool. A lot of bowlers, all these games, they swell, and some of us are just the opposite. The more we bowl, the more our hand shrinks.
I got to make a little correction on those scores. You see, they're getting that fixed now. Dudak over 12 or so again.
Yeah, he's just, he's not getting it out to that 7-8 area, and he definitely needs to get out at least 6, 7, 8 with as much hand as he's got. He needs to open his angles up a little bit, because if you watch his swing, especially in his backswing, he's so firm and kind of cupped up in the backswing that he's going to add a few extra revs to the ball. I'm always amazed, like him and I said Wes Malott, that they can take their thumb in and out several times and just take off and walk. I would drop it.
Yeah, kind of some of their timing thing maybe too, just to get things going. And
my thumb's so tight, I just want to make sure it's in there. I don't want to. Just a way of thinking that as a coach, sometimes you think, man, that would kind of make you want to squeeze it a little bit if it was that loose that you could actually go in and out that easily. But obviously it works. Who's going to argue with Wes Malott, for God's sakes?
Not me, because he's bigger than me.
He's bigger than everybody on tour. What are you talking about? Well, if the shot goes left, which I think it will, John's definitely got enough hand to circle the pattern.
Oh, we've got to. These guys need to take a break and let them fix the scores, because it's all messed up there right now.
Well, I think Linda would be down there keeping score, so no matter what it says up there, we should have it right, I would think. Don's looking a little confused. Lane's hooking more than he would like it to, I think. He's using a pretty aggressive ball, and he was left of 10 down lane. And that's just something that can't happen. You've got to get that ball right at that far marker.
But you look at the down lane reaction, that 7-pin left on the left lane didn't make that violent turn left, whereas we're seeing the right lane do that just in front of that pin. Even Dudak's, Brooklyn he had, the ball just went left at, 55 feet or whatever it was.
This is where, like in the fill ball the last game, I'm surprised, and you brought up the point that shouldn't he throw a different ball just to see what's out there and where the shot could go, thought that would have been a good choice. Shoot, even in league, and I don't bowl that much in league, but even in league, a lot of times throw a different shot, a ball in a 10th, just to see, if what I'm seeing is right. Or you might have a better look with something else. 7-10. Did we just talk about that?
Yeah, and he'd love that off his hand.
Yep.
And
yeah, he's tough. Like, okay, I got it. And unfortunately, that was almost a 5, 7-10.
Yeah, we just had the Roth Holman doubles. Can we get a 7-10 conversion here? Nope.
There's not many of us out here can throw it hard enough to bounce it out. I could run in from outside and probably get up to 16 mile an hour.
You see our leaders, Tom Baker, Ron Mohr, getting loose down on the low end of the house.
The unique style of Tom Baker. Shuffle, shuffle, little quirk.
But, man, can he strike.
My first match today was against Biggs. I thought I had him, and I threw one in the 8th and left a 4-9. And he goes, thank you, and strikes out and whoops on me.
Much better ball roll and release there for Dudak.
He got the ball out to the right of the markers down lane. The cheater boards, as so many people call them now.
I think we're all used to them, but I was in a center recently where they had those lane markers reversed. So they had the down lane one at 10 at 40 feet, and the other one, so it was backwards. So that was really weird, yeah.
A lot of people ask, like, well, what do you do? They get so used to the markers. Well, I'm going to go bowl with this center that doesn't have the markers. Well, how am I going to see my break point? Same way we did for years. Look at the reflection of the pins on the lane. The reflection of the head of the pin, like in between the 6-10, will give you the same down lane area to shoot at. So if you're looking for something down lane to target 2. Look at the reflection of the pins on the lane.
Dudak fed that one farther down lane to the dry boards, and it peeled off it quite aggressively.
You know, it was kind of funny that yesterday, when in qualifying, we had our first 6, and boy, the lanes never just seemed to really break down that bad in games 5 and 6. And then we had a 2-hour break, then we come back, and the scores just started out just incredible. And the last couple of games, the lanes just unbelievably started hooking. They got what we like to call a little bit wet dry, and that's where a lot of the guys like Blatchford and guys just whacked them the last couple of games. Unfortunately, I struggled the last couple of games.
Still playing about, what, 10 to 8 or so, not giving a lot of room. But down 24 with 4 frames to go.
You sure that score's right this time?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Strike here would just let Dudak know that he's not going to give up. Oh, that ball just took off dead left again. So now all of a sudden the left lane seems to be a little sparky down lane, where 2 minutes ago was the right lane.
Welcome to bowling. When you think you have it figured out, do it again.
And we will tomorrow.
Yes. Yeah, we got a practice round this afternoon, 3 to 5 for the PBA60.
Are you going to practice?
Yeah, I think.
More games.
If my shoulder will hold up, maybe a few minutes. And being the player services rep for Brunswick Deviate and Radical, I have a pallet and a half of bowling balls I have to load onto the PBA truck and take inventory at. So it's going to be a fun day for me.
It's a nice cool day outside here in Florida, so you should be all right.
Yeah, thanks. Little fat guys sweat a lot, you know that, right?
No comment. Oh, he liked that one.
Ooh, almost a 7-10 there. They popped up randomly yesterday and today on shots that you didn't think it was, because he was kind of like stepping out. Maybe I'll get a light swisher out of that. Ooh, almost left 7-10. That's like, oh no, thank you.
That's amazing how many thoughts go through your mind in that 2.3 seconds.
Yeah. Oh,
Like, I like the shot. Wait, no, carry. Okay, good break. Oh, and there's that thumb, right? You were just saying that loose on the thumb.
I'm just saying. Uh-oh, his thumb came out.
Oh, well, that could do it too.
It broke. It did. The bottom of the thumb broke. That looks like that Chris Barnes thing on that video you keep seeing.
That's his spare ball too.
Yeah. Well, if that's the bottom of his thumb, that's his actual. Oh, Lord.
Yeah, that's not an easy quick fix.
There is no fix. And unfortunately, you can't run out to the truck because the PBA truck is not open. So we're going to have a break in the action here for a second because he's got to figure out how. Whoa.
Well, luckily, it's a 7-pin. He can throw a strike ball at it, but that's going
Right.
to make a difference later on here with no plastic to throw at the 10-pin.
Don't leave
just
him.
don't leave him.
Yes.
Yeah, that's, we
figured
we
that
solved
out.
it for you, John. Yeah, just don't leave him. But now again, so now that's kind of in your head, right? Well, I hope this ball doesn't do it, but you just got to shut that out.
Oh, no. Okay, I thought he might have been a little bit too far left on that. It had come out of the oil. It's a good thing he caught that because that could have just rolled right on past him and nothing.
Right, then it's a 0. 192 max for Blatchford. 215, 219 pace for Dudak.
Well, John's just got to hope that he just keeps striking, or if he does leave something at 4 or 7, he can use his strike ball that. And then during the break, figure out how to get a spare ball.
I'm not sure if I've ever seen it before during the approach where you just feel a break in your hand. All sorts of. He could have hurt himself. Could have. Yeah, that could have been disastrous. Well, that's what bowling does to you. You don't have a spare ball. You were going to leave a 10-pin.
I remember one time when we owned our center, and it was just a thumb slug. It wasn't an interchangeable, and the glue had cut loose, and I went to throw, and you felt the sleeve start to come out, and I threw the ball, but I instantly grabbed my thumb, and I didn't want to look down because I knew that part of my thumb was still in the ball, and I looked down, it was still there, but it felt like I ripped my thumb off. I was scared to death to even look down. I just knew there was going to be blood everywhere. Oh, 10-pin using, he's got to think about this a little bit, huh?
Oh, you should be able to flatten it out. No.
He flattened it way out. Well, and that's, I guess, kind of expected. He knows he's using a strike ball. I'm going to have to force it to the right, make sure it stays over there and it doesn't hook right before it gets there. And then you force it too far to the right with a little extra speed and it just drops right off.
Now, how does that work? So you've signed a ball card. Can you bring another ball in play? Can you come to, hey, Tom, do you have a ball that fits my hand? Can I throw it? Is that legal or not?
Yeah.
So if someone around here that has a spare ball that's going to fit him, he could grab it.
Yeah, I don't see it. I don't think there's any rule that says you can. You just have to put the ball on the card as long as the ball's legal.
And Blatchford
might have just gave him another opening.
Yeah, there's not much that can happen now. Yeah, he's max is 170. Any type of mark in 2 frames, and Dudak's going to advance. So he'll have a chance more than likely while Ron Mohr waits in the wings, gets his practice to maybe go find another
spare ball.
Another spare ball.
Or at least a ball that he has in his arsenal that, you know, is weaker that he knows he can throw straight.
On that note, there is no surface adjustments allowed after this is started, correct? So
Right.
he couldn't go take one of the balls and just polish it.
No. Surface adjustments are a big part of the game anymore. Guys actually try to burn up other guys' shots, you know. It's just amazing. There's actually defense in bowling now.
Well, there was a little bit back in the day too, but it's more prevalent now. Or it's easier and quicker to do it now, probably.
Oh, yeah. John's got to have about 1,000 things going through his mind right now. You know, get out of this match in the break, figure out something. He just needs a mark. That just sounds so simple. All you have to do. He doesn't even need a mark, it doesn't look like, if that's right.
Yeah, no, 161 is a max now for Blatchford, so yeah, it's over. So he gets, again, you've got 2 frames to throw a different ball, and he's sticking with that same one. He bumped in a little bit.
If he doesn't have another ball, I might be using my 10th frame to shoot 10 pins to see if I can get the ball down the lane.
Yeah, why not? That's a great point. Yeah, it's irrelevant. Just throw that strike ball 2 times at the corner.
Right. You know, just, you know, get some confidence that you know you're going to be able to pick up a 10 pin with that thing. And this is a perfect. Again, I like to talk to him. Why he isn't trying a different ball? The match is well in hand. Just to see what he's got. Obviously, the lanes are breaking down and they're changing. And the other 2 players that are coming up, I think, are both throwing surface, so they could even change more.
Left to target all the way. Be an interesting couple-minute break for Dudak. What he does, how does he settle the mind and just forget about what's happened?
Yeah, you can tell that stuff's going on in his head right now. He's checking all of his thumbs. He's a little bit paranoid at this point.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, and you can't blame him. You're like, God, I hope another thumb doesn't come out. I guess that's the advantage of doing that. Maybe you know if your thumb is coming out. Would you go tell him to throw another ball?
I would like to yell through this monitor.
Then we'll quit talking about it. Wait a minute. Hang on. I think he's.
I was yelling at my cell phone yesterday watching our buddy Zeke Bate bowl the doubles, where he had that opportunity to attempt to throw a different ball, and I said, throw a different ball, and I'm yelling at the phone in the car on the way to lunch, and he didn't. He still bowled fantastic. It was great to see that, but again, experience. You have it's information for something.
Right.
So Dudak will advance against Ron Mohr.
He's looking over at, I think Harry Sullins is working on his ball, and I think he's more worried about his spare ball than he is trying to figure out what's going to happen this next shot.
Well, I've never put those thumbs in, but it looked like an IT, right? And so there's a little disc at the bottom. Somehow you need to get to fasten in there.
They screw in and lock, but if the screw-in part is the bottom is busted, he's the only way they can do is drill it out and put a different one in. And now you got 3 guys scrambling on trying to figure out how to get a spare ball. Well, I know Don's disappointed. He was, after having such a great run, coming from 15th all the way to 3rd, thinking this is, a good opportunity. And you have to bowl against one of his good friends, too, if he gets to the title match, Ron Mohr. A lot of times they travel together. So I know he was hoping to be bowling for that title. But still not a bad payday for a weekend.
No, not, obviously a great finish. He has an opportunity to potentially win a title. But he's going to shoot, 151, looks like here. So we're going to be semifinal match here, PBA60 Killer B Open, Lane Glo Bowl, Port Richey, Florida. Ron Mohr and John Dudak with Hall of Famer Tom Baker waiting for that championship match.
Okay, we had a little issue here with the thumb grip, so sorry for that delay. Congratulations to John Blatchford. He also made the top 5 in Fort Wayne at the PBA60, so always in the running. Don Blatchford, everybody. And John Dudak, despite the mishap, he's still in there playing, and he'll be facing none other than Ron Mohr shortly. Tommy, the tournament leader, gets 4 practice shots before Ron. Ron will come on for 6 more, and then we'll get the semifinal match underway for him. And hopefully John Dudak will have his original bowling ball back. We're trying for it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to start the semifinal match, the PBA60 Killer B Open here at Lane Glo Bowl. John Dudak has his bowling ball back. John's looking for his first PBA Tour title, and this next gentleman upcoming from Las Vegas, Nevada, has won a number of them. He's an 8-time champion on the PBA50 Tour, 19 times he's won on the PBA Regional Tour. He was a 2009 and 2011 PBA 50 Tour Player of the Year. Ron Mohr, everybody. It's going to be a great match. John Dudak will start the match on the left lane. Good luck, guys.
Dudak will start again. 257, 215 winner over Chrzanowski. 203, 151 winner over Blatchford. But he's got a guy named Ron Mohr up next. Ron is always a tough competitor, Tom.
Yeah, I don't think anything phases Ron. He's got such a cool level-headed. You know, he used to be an air traffic controller, and I think that would be enough to get your nerves rattled. So bowling isn't going to upset him a whole lot. It's just a matter of how the lanes transition, how they broke down, you know. They got to be hooking. Looks like he's got a spare ball back.
Looks like Harry Sullins and another player or two on the assist. Let's see how it goes here. But, yeah, that's pretty important. Not a 10-pin now. That's, what, just a 6-pin. But I'm sure he's happy to have that. But, again, what's going through your head?
Oh, he's got to feel a little bit better about it now. It stayed on his hand. Thumb didn't come out.
Big sigh. Ron Mohr, 8 senior titles, and this shocked me. He has not won a title since 2012.
I don't think that's right.
I double and triple checked. 2016 Player of the Year, 2011 Senior Open, 6 top 5s in 2016, but not a single win.
6 top 5s, and you figure that we only had 14 tournaments, so almost half the tournaments he was in the top 5.
Well, not that, but he led qualifying, I think, in 8 events last year. A bit, not by a couple pins, but by a lot.
Yeah, he gets on a strike roll. His first match was right next to me, and he has the front 9. And I'm like, do you ever stop striking?
Nope. Just picked up another regional just, about a week and a half ago.
You got to love his game. Another simple game. He's just so up the back of the ball. He's got that hook set, and you got to like it. You can't. If you don't like it, the only reason is because you're jealous. You know,
well, and that, but just, you know, if you met Ron before, you know he's just one of the absolute nicest guys out here.
I had the opportunity. Peter Knopp invited myself and Ron Mohr over to bowl on his team in Germany, so Ron and I went over and bowled, and I got to room with Ron and get to know him. Just an all-out great person. He just got such a humble personality, you know. And then you watch him bowl, and he's actually fierce on the lanes, but he's kind at the same time. He basically kills you with kindness.
So you had to wake up at 5:30, so he's doing his 500 push-ups and sit-ups then probably.
I got to watch that firsthand, and people say, no. I watched him do 750 push-ups and turn around and build up some pillows, so he had to lean backwards on his sit-ups. I take that back. It was 750 sit-ups, 450 push-ups.
You might find that's hard to believe, but I haven't done that many in my lifetime.
I know I haven't.
And that's every day from what we hear. Right? Every day he does that.
I'm built like a bowling pin. There's no way. It was amazing. He's sweating like crazy. And the amazing thing when he's doing the push-ups, you see people do push-ups, they're just cracking them out one right after another. Ooh, bad break. He's push up, get set, go down, hold it, push it back up. I'm going, oh, my God, you're killing me. Either the lanes are going through a little bit of transition. He tried to move in to get away from the early hook, or he just didn't catch that at the bottom.
I think a little bit of both on that one. Just bumped in, tried to feed it those drives a little quicker and missed it. And
well,
giving an open to Ron Mohr early on like this, that's just like throwing a quart of blood in the ocean with sharks around.
Yeah, you don't give this guy a break because he strikes a lot. And it's evident by, you know, the player of the year, the titles he's won, all the tournaments he's led. He steps on that approach. His mental game is so rock solid. He's got kind of a unique, if you look at his stance, look at that index finger, push really hard on that ball. That locks up that wrist and keeps it really firm through the swing. And I think that was one of the big reasons his ball never really reads the front part of the lane that early. He just is so strong in that wrist.
But that's exactly what we talked about in the first match. Ron Mohr's ball roll on those 10 pins.
Look at that. He
actually
knocked
slid it.
Yeah.
Wow.
So much different on the pushaways between, you know, if we had a side-by-side of Mohr and Dudak. Ron just kind of drops it into his swing, and John goes out, pushes it, kind of locks that elbow. And it's kind of something that's kind of funny because, you know, when I started bowling, it seemed like 100 years ago, that's what they, you know, we kind of all preach, push it out, lock that elbow, make sure your arm swings straight. Now they don't want your arm locked up at all. They want it as like a noodle, just totally loose. So that swing just drops right down and through. Takes the pressure off your shoulder. Ron kind of beats himself up a little bit because he expects every ball to come off his hand perfect, and he expects to strike. And if he doesn't, you can see him get a little wound up, but he strikes so much.
Well, and with good reason, right? Because he's had so much success. I mean, a former player of the year out here. He's, you know, he laps fields in qualifying sometimes. And just last year was a really tough year for him, you know, in match play. Just couldn't ever figure out how to get those wins. And you know that ate at him probably all off season. But he's back here, rejuvenated in 2017. Just married a couple weeks ago. Back in the winner's circle on his way here to new Port Richey. And you got to believe he's going to have a pretty solid 2017.
Yeah, and it's hard to believe that he said he didn't think, he was thinking about, and that might be because he just got married, but he was thinking about not coming out this year, just taking a year off. And like I said, the other guys would have been probably happy because there'd be one more check, because he is going to be in the finals every week. And it doesn't care about the PBA 60 or 50. He's going to make the finals, both of them.
Well, and if he looks back at last year, it's not like he was
60 then.
Beat, but he was getting beat by Pete Weber, and Pete had just
yeah.
You can't even explain that season last year. Just stupid good season.
Yeah, 5 titles in a row. And I think Pete was in the 6th one was actually nervous, you know, in that title match to win. That was something to watch.
A little high, but he kicks the 4 out.
Nerves might be getting to him just a little bit because he knows he has to perform here.
Well, it's already his best finish ever for John Dudak, and you know, but you can't look ahead. You can't look to Tom Baker, and you got to get past Ron Mohr first.
Right. And that's just not an easy feat. I think he thought he had that and couldn't believe that 6-pin's still there, but it's kind of odd that you get a pocket 6 anyway.
I had that, 9 3/4 10-pin the last shot, and now that pocket 6.
That's why we love this game. You can throw a great shot and not get rewarded for it. And you can throw it one god-awful, miss the building, and strike.
And, you know, not getting too far ahead and giving Ron a win, but if Tom Baker's watching, he's definitely going to make Ron finish on that lane.
Oh, I'm sure. Now, Bakes isn't even practicing, so I'm sure he's sitting off to the side kind of taking it in, see what's going on. One thing about Ron, his pre-shot routine is pretty much, I think, the same, exactly the same every time that he goes up. He wipes that ball off I think he does a better job on the ball spinner as many times as he can wipe that thing off, spin it around.
But, you know, that's an important thing, right, to keep your routine consistent, because that's just one less thing you think about.
Right. You know, if you do the same thing all the time, then hopefully that the results are the same. You know, you can't change. And this is a game where it's just repetition. Everything from the way you get out of your chair to the way you get to the approach needs to be the same, especially when you're bowling good.
He's still thinking about that 6-pin, though.
Yeah. Ron's one of the guys, too, that doesn't really like to watch his opponent to bowl in case there is such a thing as a lucky break. He doesn't want to see it, you know, because that kind of stuff will get into your head.
What happened here?
Yeah, I'm going to say that he just didn't catch that because he looks as confused as I think we are here from Washington. He hit like 12 at the arrows. He took it out to 8, and the ball just never read on the back end. Great spare. Another one of those spares you love to hate. Obviously, they fixed that spare ball pretty good. He's got a unique way of getting his approach started because he's got a real, if you've seen his feet, I mean, they're a mile apart. It's like he's getting wedged in there, and then he gets his legs up and gets set.
So we're still within, what is about a 20-pin game or so here. We're down 15, strike versus spare. Ron Mohr a chance to open up a little lead here, but it's not over.
You watch Ron, he just, you know, he self-talk, talking to himself, you know, let the air out, getting up on the lane. And he's throwing, like I said, there's enough oil in the middle, and that's the same ball he's using a phase 2 that he started with this morning that he shot 279 with out of the gate. Same ball I watched him, I was bowling right next to him yesterday on 1 and 2. He shoots 279. We had a breakdown on lanes 13 and 14. We sent to 1 and 2. Guys are worried about how that pair was going to play. Ron goes down there and shoots 279, so assumed the pair played okay.
It's good for him.
Ah, the side-by-side. Totally different in the way they get to the line in the first 2 steps. That push, drop. Get a little fired up. And there's got to be a little bit of a grind going on inside him, knowing the season he had last year without a win. I mean, this is important to him to get to the title match, to get that monkey off his back.
Well, you know, that's the thing. If you finish second again,
that's got to start getting into your head too.
Yeah. So, but to come out with a win, then yeah, it's going to be such a difference emotionally between. I mean, yeah, a win's a win, but with the season he had last year,
to lead that many times too.
Yeah.
He caught all that one. The difference in wrist position, you know, at the peak of the backswing Ron's is pretty straight and firm. You got John Dudak, who's really cupped up in the backswing, which, you know, he rolls it off his wrist at the bottom of the swing, which creates a little bit earlier hook sometimes too. And I don't think Ron has that to worry about. He can just force it through the front part. Somebody's got a phone going nuts. Was that you?
No.
Dudak. I call him Wackadoo.
Well, he can still shoot 234.
It's not a bad game. He's walking that one out. Like, come on, hold. Come on. Well, I could see the score there for a second. 234, Ron can go 259?
Yeah, he's pacing 239, can go 259. Opportunity here in the 9th and 10th to lock it up and get his shot at Tom Baker.
He didn't like that one at all.
Not one bit.
And that was the kind of things he went through last year. You know, he'd be bowling good, and then he'd have that one frame where it came off his hand, and he's just like, well, what did I do?
And double wood back there. That's
not the easiest spare in the world.
We've seen it chopped a couple different times here today.
So he's got a possibility of now just 237 if he strikes out. Which is still a win by 3 pins. He didn't look that sure on that either, did he?
No, there was a big sigh of relief there after the ball made it to the pit area.
I mean, from where we're sitting at the angle, we have it's just like he wasn't so sure that. Yeah, look at it. His hands like, really?
So Dudak with 234 max score. Double and 8.
Is a winner. Got to have the first one. Oh, messengered out tonight. He wasn't sure about that one either. Then he got a break.
That goes right back to what I said, that what goes through your mind in those 2.3 seconds. I like the shot. No, I don't. Okay,
Oh.
yeah, I'll take it.
And John's heart just went up and got sank again. He goes, oh, a breath of fresh air. Darn.
Strike in 8, and Ron Mohr will have a chance to bowl for the first title of 2017.
He's liking that one a little bit. That's why you don't give the guys that win a lot breaks, because they take advantage of them. A little pressure off. Now he knows just 8 pins. But we've seen that happen before. All you need is 8.
Yeah, just 8.
Just 8. Wash out. 6 count. Little light bucket.
That's Tom Baker for anybody that's going to write in after this next shot. That was not me. 8 pins is enough for a chance at a title.
And John's just sitting there, give me a chance. Give me a chance. 7 for a tie. Nope. Winner.
Man, you're living on the edge there.
I was, you know. I'm always the underdog guy, you know.
Ron Mohr out of Las Vegas will take on Tom Baker for the PBA60 Killer B Open title. Right here in Port Richey, Florida. Coming up next.
didn't do it on purpose. 6 pin in the hole, 10 pin in the and not fall down.
Congratulations to Ron Mohr. Moving on, congratulations to John Dudak. That was a great match, guys. I believe that's John's high finish in the PBA60 Tour. So great tournament for John. Ron Mohr moves on. Bit of a sigh of relief for Ron. He's had his share of, shall we say, bad luck in the top 5. And I thought, oh, here we go again. But he bowled a great game and overcame. So congratulations to Ron for that. Tommy's going to get 8 shots before we start the championship match. Nice bowling, guys.
Can you count Tommy's shots? I'll be right back.
Championship match, PBA60 Killer B Open. Craig Elliott, Tom Carter, Jeff Goodyear, and Phil Brylow here for Xtra Frame. Another shot in a practice. We see John Weber, our esteemed tournament director down there.
The John Weber tracker right there. Is Jeff all right? I'm worried about him. He's
He's doing fine. So what a way to kick off the season, though.
Hall of Famer against another future Hall of Famer.
Yeah. I mean, you can't ask for a better match. Tom Baker in the PBA Hall of Fame and the USBC Hall of Fame.
Yeah, shake that off.
69 PBA 300s. 10 national titles. 14 senior national titles. With 28 regionals mixed in both of them as well. So 52 total titles. Yeah.
You bored me here. Lord.
He's won 12 times on the PBA 50 Tour. He was the PBA 50 Tour Bowler of the Year 4 consecutive years.
I guess I wouldn't have had to ask that off camera if I'd have just listened. Tune into Xtra Frame. You can get this information.
We've got John Weber giving the final introductions and giving us some of that information. And like we said, yeah, you make round finish on that right lane. Tom was watching.
Yeah, of course he was. You don't win that many times without knowing something.
Ron Mohr versus Tom Baker. Championship match #1 on the season. Here we go.
Ron's got to get the monkey off his back. You can kind of see it there. He's just like, I need a win. Not the way he wanted to start. And he thought it was good. He really gets through that arm swing, doesn't he? Right at the top, just whack. And on this pattern that we're playing on, 39 feet, Viper, and using a ball with surface, it just, and we talked about how strong the back ends are. That ball can lose. It looks good, but it loses just a pinch enough energy that when it turns the corner, it doesn't strike.
Well, explain to us a little bit, Tom, though. I mean, that was a 10 pin, but that was a flat 10, not the ring 10. So there's a big difference in the two.
Oh, yeah. When a ball's got to slow down and strike, but if it slows down too much, it hits the pocket, and it's just a flat 10. It's not driving through the pocket at all, and that's just what happened here. There's just so much friction on the lane right now. Tommy, with a different release, he kind of spins it through the front part. His ball stores more energy on lane conditions that tend to be a little bit drier. The little Tommy shuffle right there. And if you watch his follow through, his hand actually looks like it goes all the way around it. And he's looking at the back of his hand in his follow through. You're going to see it on this shot right here. He gets around, and there you see the back of his hand.
Almost like the spinner release we see from the guys from Japan and Taiwan. Very similar, not quite as quick, but the end result.
You know, if you can get a ball through the front part of the lane with this new equipment that we have and get it to store energy, your percentage of striking goes up dramatically. A lot of guys shell down because that's the only way they can get a ball through the front part of the lane. The guys that have the kind of release that Tommy's got, they can stay with stronger equipment longer.
And that same flat 10 on the left lane for both players.
Yeah, he didn't like that shot off his hand. When my first match was against Tom this morning, and he actually dropped 2 shots. His hand was so swollen up from the bowling the regionals last week and all the games today, and he just stuck and got a break there. He was calling his fingers sausages. He couldn't even get them into the ball. You see Ron talking to himself, even shaking his head. Yes, he's a lot of self-talk that goes on with him. I think that comes from bowling with Team USA. You got to get into your head, and it's all positive talk. You never say anything bad. Strike, spare for Tommy, spare strike for Ron. All even in the first. We just got to see what happens the rest. The left lane seems to be the one that's given everybody a little bit of problem now, which is kind of, they just keep flipping back and forth. One lane breaks down, the other lane breaks down. Ron liked that one. He kind of stood up on that. He's like, come on, please carry through the back end. That ball continued better. He might have moved in a pinch because that ball did not stop. That 6 snapped out to 10.
Well, of all the titles that Tom Baker's won, this is potentially his first, same for Ron Mohr, their first PBA60 Tour win. This is the 8th PBA60 title awarded in PBA history.
Ooh, that was early.
That's not something he's used to seeing with his ball roll.
No, that ball got to the spot. And, well, that's something about guys that can kind of spin it through the front. When their ball does get to the back end, it has so much energy, it can turn harder on the back end because they stored more energy. It doesn't slow down quite as fast as guys are up the back of the ball. I don't think Tommy's style has changed over the last 30 years. I think he thinks it has, but it hasn't.
And that's going to be part of his success, is he doesn't have a ton of moving parts. It's not a huge backswing. It's not a big power game. It's pretty simple. Just get it off your hand.
Well, you know, something to be said for the PBA60 guys and the longevity that some of these guys have had. You know, Tom Baker, and we had Dave Sutar out here forever. Johnny Petraglia is still out here. You know, he's almost 70. That's because their games are simple. You know, everybody talks about the two-handers and the no-thumbers and how long will they bowl, because it's a little bit different torque on their body, but nobody knows really, you know.
Much better shot from Tom on this one. High flush.
Past winners of the PBA60. Bill Henson, Jim Knobloch, Sam Macarone, Bill McCorkle. Kerry Painter won the first one in the doubles. Don Sylvia just last year. Got a little teary-eyed over that one.
Good luck with his name.
Yeah, Junichi. I wish I could say his last name. From Japan.
And you heard the crowd reaction on that last shot. I think it's a 9-pin, but that was some very strange pin action.
He threw that with a little bit of grit there, I think.
A little bit.
You can tell he's having reminiscences of last year. Don't let this happen to me again. It's got to get into your mind a little bit. You just got to, and you can't think about it. You just got to make good shots.
Well, that's the good and bad. I mean, his last championship match on the national tour was against Don Sylvia back in August, so you've had all that time to think about it. And
you can't go back and fix what happened. You just got to look forward and just make good shots.
We've got us a match right here.
So many young players worry about the frames that they already had, that either they didn't carry or they opened, and you can't worry about that. There's no mulligans. Can't go back and fix it. Just focus on the present.
Interesting talking to Don Sylvia after it was his first win, and he drove driven up to Indiana to retire. Then he wins. I said, "What are you going to bowl again?" He said, "Oh, I don't know." Well, he wasn't here today.
No, I'm surprised. He lives down here.
Right? Yeah, he's a Florida guy, so maybe he's holding true to his word, going out on top.
Much better arm swing there.
And he got that a little farther out down lane. Is that the difference?
Well, that one shot that went really high, if you watch the swing, his swing went way to the right, which normally makes the ball go to the left early. And that swing was much straighter, longer through the to the point of the release and target. Dave Bernhardt walking by trying to make me laugh right in the middle of saying something.
It's a good thing you got so many friends out here. It'd be rough, huh?
I know. A little wiggle, wiggle, shuffle.
Strike to keep it even.
That worked, and I wasn't so sure that he liked that because that was another one of the swings that went out to the right. If you on this replay, you can see his arm just, boom, goes way to the right. And like I said, normally that makes that ball go up a little bit high, but that one held.
The thing I like the most about that shot, though, is you see he watched that ball go the entire way down the lane through the pins. And he's taken that information to make his next adjustments.
The guys really pay attention to how the ball leaves the pin deck, how it goes through the pins and where it leaves the pin deck at. Not how it hit the pocket, but how it got off the deck. They make adjustments off of that. Ooh, I don't think he liked it, but he'll take the break.
Doesn't get much closer than this. We are tied through 6 frames of the championship match. Another look at Ron Mohr's shot. Right about there, it starts to go left. He's thinking, oh.
He thought that was high. At least it kind of looked high.
Well, he went to that high 9 pin. That one goes high. He's going to have to make an adjustment on that lane.
Looked like he's taking a re-rack. He did.
And he's going to have to finish on that lane as well.
And Tommy wants him to finish on that lane because it's a little jumpy. You got to make really pure shots on that lane to strike, but it's not like that Ron doesn't make pretty pure shots to begin with. We definitely have a match. Ron's got to be pretty happy with the way he's throwing the ball right now. You know, he's just, you throw it that way, breaks are going to come your way. Normally when he strikes like that, he's kind of slapping him out, running him out. And he stayed pretty calm about that. He's keeping his composure.
You know, if this match right here doesn't keep you convinced on what good your Xtra Frame subscription's for, I'm not sure what else we can offer. I mean, Hall of Famers, great bowlers, great guys. First title of the year on the PBA60 Tour.
And I think it's going to be 250-250. And we talked about that. It's going to be a high-scoring match. And this is the reason these guys are on top, because they figured out the shot, and they executed, they made good shots, and pretty much led both of them, you know, 1-2. You just kept flipping back and forth this morning between these two guys on who was actually going to lead the tournament. Ooh, he's hoping to messenger out the 9-pin. Slow roller, didn't get it.
Yeah, Ron Mohr and Tom, that exchange. Tom says, it's my turn. Ron says, well, we're even. I'm not sure Tom's feeling that sentiment right about now.
No, I don't think so.
But we understand what they mean.
And there's just a bunch of great guys out here. They just, everybody wants to bowl. We all want to compete, you know, but It's not cutthroat. Guys are having a good time. Try to make the crowd laugh. Be interactive.
But and I think that even helps Ron a little bit with Tom joking. He can just you saw that little smile, and it's got to help him relax just that little bit.
If you can, yeah, and it's a key. And the great bowlers, they always look relaxed. There's ice in their veins. They never get wound up or get tight. They just always cool, calm, and collected. Like you said, now that he got that little laugh there, that kind of takes some of that pressure off.
Two shots in a row went high. 1 9-pin, 1 carried, and that one's.
He threw that, and he wasn't sure about that. That was kind of a look of, did I or did I not?
Well, look at his release. A little different on the follow through, just kind of trying to jam it down there. Go.
Yeah, he thought that was probably a 10-pin because he didn't think that ball was going to carry through. It was in a little bit. You didn't see it really turning in. You didn't know if it was going to strike or not. Ron can definitely put some pressure back on him if he strikes right here.
Well, a strike here definitely makes it tough for Tom Baker. Ron would not be shut out, but at minimum he needs 9 spare. Looked a little tentative.
Yeah, he threw that and it just it's like he was lost when he threw it. He knew it wasn't good off his hand. He was hoping for a break. He did get one. The 4-pin fell out, but that must be that pressure. Boy, that was a little odd. But that must be the pressure for, wanting to win so bad that you're not letting it off your hand now.
Well, and he's won a lot. He's won recently. He's had success with Team USA. But again,
gold medal last year. It's not like that he doesn't win, but these guys out here, the greats like him and Bakes and Walter Ray and Pete, and they want to win. Every time they put on the shoes, they expect to win. They have that kind of demeanor when they step on the lane.
And there's only one title up for grabs, and that's the unfortunate part for these players is you can't all win.
Tommy punching that one out. Tommy with a possible 248. We have the possibility of a tie.
That's why that 9 count was so important for Ron and that last shot to, an 8 count, and the tie's not there. The possibility still exists.
Yeah, well, definitely Tommy's got, he's kind of in the driver's seat. He gets to finish first. If he strikes out for 248, Ron's got to match it, and Tommy knows Ron's not on his favorite lane. This shot here is huge. First one. Maybe that's why he's got so many titles. These guys, when you come out here as a young player, as a young 50-year-old player, you still got to learn how to win. And what's tough is these guys came from the regular tour out here, and they already know how to win. And the young guys out on the tour, they got to learn how to win. It's kind of like a progression. You learn how to cash, then you learn how to make match play, then you learn how to win.
And just because we're in a PBA60 event, don't think it's any easier to win a title and go through this group of talent.
And just because they turned 60, they didn't forget how to bowl. Actually, some of the guys are better now than they were when they were younger. Bakes is definitely going to put the pressure on.
One of the best shots of the game.
Yeah. Little fist pump running it out there. Tommy's been working out a lot too. He said he joined a health club. And he's been doing some cardio, and he lost some weight, and obviously it shows in his game. He's 60 and in shape and still striking. Oh, well, Ron's got a chance. He's
and you know
not
what?
shut out.
I bet if you ask Ron, we'll have to see how it plays out, but this is what he needs. He needs to get the win back with all 3 in the 10th.
That would be a huge, huge confidence builder,
Yeah.
especially going into the tournament starting tomorrow.
Quick recap, 247 for Tom Baker. He was our tournament leader, 52 all-time PBA titles at multiple levels. Ron Mohr, all 3 in the 10th.
For the win. But we only can do one at a time.
His last shot in this lane was his best one of the game. But I don't know if he really liked it off his hand. Let's see if you can recreate that.
That was
right
a
here.
huge long swing. He liked that swing.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Much more follow through, much
Yeah.
more deliberate with the swing.
Yeah, that swing, you watch this. This was long down lane. He went right through. Yeah, look at that. He went right through that out to 7, 8 down lane. That's a good shot. That's a real good shot. Job's not over, though. But this is the kind of position that even as a kid or whoever, you dream about being in. I want to throw 3 strikes in the 10th to win a title. It makes no difference. You know, you just, that's what you're out here for.
All the players here, all the fans in attendance understand what Ron went through last year with those 6 top 5 finishes.
A win's a win. It's nice, but you know, striking out the 10th to win, you don't want to ever win sitting on the bench. You want to win. We have a match. We have the possibility, again, of a tie. He's obviously figured out the right lane. This didn't look as good off of his swing as the other one. That went a little high.
Cut it short, just a touch there. But good result as well. 9 to tie, 10 to win. Ron Mohr needs to take that extra second to compose himself. That little adrenaline rush after that fist pump and a little bit of a holler.
And that's the big thing is you got to bring yourself back down. You can't let that adrenaline go because now you will rush the shot or you'll grab it. You'll do something that you're going to regret. 30 games later, it comes down to this shot.
It's been 5 years since Ron Mohr was in the winner's circle on the national tour. 8 senior titles to his credit.
Do or die. You got it? 8 count. Are you kidding me? He didn't go through that as well as the last 2. It looked like he got a tentative on it. Tough break for Ron Mohr. Congratulations to Tom Bakes.
Maybe it was Tommy's turn to happen, but nevertheless, congratulations to Tom Baker, our champion of the PBA60 Killer B Open.